everybody. This is Sanjeev Mehra from the Institute of Marine Engineers. And today we have Dr. Brijendra Saxena and David Birwadkar. David sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjeev. So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of iTalk 2, an initiative of the Mumbai branch of the Institute of Marine Engineers, India. In the present series, we have lined up the past presidents of IMEI, whom we are interviewing and asking them to share their experience during their tenure as president of IMEI, as also how their career and personal graphs have shaped up. Today, it is extremely special for me as I have the privilege to introduce Dr. Brijendra K. Saxena. Dr. Saxena has 5 decades of experience in shipping, and amongst his several achievements, the biggest one being the founder principal of the prestigious Tolani Maritime Institute, where he worked for about 20 years and retired only in 2018. He continues to assist there as an advisor. He is also the past president of IMEI India, Institute of Marine Engineers India, a marine engineer from DMET, and has the experience of sailing on ships, and later on ashore, he was involved in technical operations, commercial, and academic sectors. He is also a graduate of the World Maritime University, Malmö, Sweden, and has done a stint of teaching there also. Recognizing his contribution to the maritime education, he was conferred with an award for outstanding contribution to maritime education and training by the Government of India. At present, as he mentioned, he is an advisor to TMI and also associated with many institutions. He is a member of the Academic Council of the Indian Maritime University and also continuing as chairman of the Research and Training Committee of INSA. Despite retirement and recognizing his contribution to maritime training, he was requested to continue. Dr. Saxena, I have been in touch with you for almost last 10 years and have been learning a lot from you, from your vast experience in training and other areas. And personally, I have really enhanced my knowledge as also perspective to look at things differently. Dr. Saxena, I'm very curious to know why you chose marine engineering as a career and how you landed up in DMET.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, David, and thanks for those kind words, and thanks to IMEI for giving me this opportunity to sort of talk with you all. My background has been very vivid. There have been lots of things which I've done, and I'm happy that I'm there with you now at the moment. Your question related to how I chose marine engineering. I come from a small town in UP, and of course from the army background. So the only option was to go to army. Okay, but I couldn't make it, so the other option was engineering. Okay, so I got selected in a couple of places, and the uniforms, the photographs, and the DMET, interested me. So that's how I landed in early 60s with a trunk on my hand. And I carried it myself to all 4 years in Calcutta. Nobody came from my home to DMET, and I think I'm privileged to be part of DMET. That really trained me to do whatever I'm doing actually. So there's no real goal of becoming an engineer, number one, and number two, marine engineering was out of question. Of course, we had never seen sea only. Yeah, I think that's about all, probably.
Well, but still it's an inspiration for other boys coming from small towns that they can take it up as a profession, and if they can reach the heights which you have reached or even half the heights, they would have achieved a lot. So going on, I would like to know when you decided on further graduation from WMU Malmö and what kind of boost it gave to your career at that time.
Actually, I joined Jayanti's after passing out from DMET, and then of course automatically part of SCI. And I sailed for almost more than 14 years or so, 7 years as chief. And then I became a superintendent in tankers division of SCI. And that's where my life changed, because suddenly I realized that I knew quite a bit about engineering, but I knew zero about shipping actually. And that made me very, very uncomfortable. And I tried to search, and finally I located an institute called Narottam Murarji Institute, and I joined that for evening classes and all that. In spite of a lot of fun being made of me, this is nothing to do with you, and if at all It's only the master mariners do it. And I said, no, let me see. And I enjoyed that course for 2 years. In fact, I stood first in the second year, the country, and the Sumati Ben Morarji, who was the chairperson of Sindhya's, gave me a medal. And I topped in 3 subjects like law, chartering, and economics. And somehow SCI also realized my potential, and they transferred me from technical to the claims department of oil tankers. In the tanker division, there is a section. So I was there and I was heading it for a couple of years. And that is the time I started working in various sectors of commercial side. I did my chartered ship brokers exam in tanker and dry cargo chartering. I did marine insurance specialization, insurance law, even the financial management in Narsi Monji, going for the night classes and returning home in Borivali late night and again leaving early morning. So all that I did, and suddenly my name was nominated for the World Maritime University for the 2 years full-time program in management. And that's where, again, I probably did very well, excelled. And when I returned from there, and after a few months, I got a call that whether I would be interested in coming back there and sort of doing some teaching there. It was out of the blue, and as the first graduate who was invited to teach there on a full-time basis. So I spent some time there. And then when I returned, suddenly I found myself to be in the academics essay. And I was in the MTI for a couple of years, teaching there, mostly commercial as well as the tankers courses. Okay, so it's been a nice journey, and the WMU was one of probably the most important milestone in my life so far, what we have discussed just now. Yeah.
That's amazing. Lots of learning for us marine engineers who wish to take up this job as a career, and an option how to enhance your value and productivity ashore. I mean, who would have the guts to just leave the marine engineering sect and look into the commercial aspect, financial aspects, claims aspect, and then then further enhance by going to WMU for further studies. I mean, hats off to you, sir, really. Sir, you have been the founder or principal of TMI and served there for nearly 2 decades. What is your message to the various training institutes currently operating in India? How can they come up to international standards?
Yeah. That's another interesting step which I took in the late 98. I had already been with SCI for 30 years. And I'm really indebted to Shipping Corporation because that has been an extremely good training ground, and I've learned a lot from my stint there in SCI. But suddenly I got a call from Dr. Tolani that, he's just set up the institute in Pune, and whether I would be interested in heading it up and setting it up. And overnight, I took a decision and just resigned from SCI and shifted to Pune, lock, stock, and barrel. And I'm fortunate that I took that step because that was more of a challenge which I took actually, because I never thought I'll be heading an institute as such, So it was more of a challenge, and the support of Dr. Tolani, the kind of management support which he provided, gave me a full hand to do whatever I wanted. And therefore, I can take probably credit and even discredit of whatever is the Tolanis today. So I set up lots of new systems there, people being free, people being available, the faculty, well motivated, not just in terms of money, but in terms of recognizing their work, giving them opportunity for further development. Okay, and that's why in Tolanis we have so many of PhDs and MTech and whatnot, So it was a big jump and big stay there. Coming back to your specific question regarding maritime education, you see, one of the things is that we need to recognize what is required in maritime education. Unfortunately, there is always a gap trying to balance between training and education. but there's not much we can do about it, because one side we have the industry requirement, and the other side we have the university academic requirements, and both have to be balanced. Okay. So from the training institute's perspective, I think what is more important, that supportive management, without that nothing can happen, and a good team, a solid team who's there, the senior people who can understand what is happening. The faculty obviously is most important. They should be there with their not only presence there, but their mind there and their 100% dedication. So that is what is needed to be developed, rather than just the pure infrastructure and all that. That doesn't really help very much. What is needed is this kind of a thing where opportunity is there for research, opportunity is there to make projects, use various resources which are there. And there's no reason why any training institute cannot rise to that occasion as TMI. And I'm happy that, Indian seafarers, both marine engineers and nautical officers, are preferred all over the world. And they would continue to be preferred if the training institutes continue to provide that kind of a output. So that is the extremely important part, and probably I won't call it as a message. I would just say that, every institute should look into that, and a combination of supportive management, a good team, good faculty, and open systems, systems which are beyond the normal ISO 9000, that's history. We should come out of that compliance part, and, we should work on self-assessment, look for KPIs, develop KPIs for institute, and see, okay, yesterday we were here, today where are we, and that is what is going to help actually. Yes.
I'm sure this will be very useful for the people who operate and handle training institutes in India. And indeed, awesome. No wonder TMI is one of the most sought after institute for candidates who are trying to join marine engineering. So yes, sir, you have done a great job. You left a wonderful legacy there, and I'm sure the people there are carrying the good work forward. So indeed, well done, sir. I mean, we are really happy to see what happens there, and of course, we know that who's behind all this. So indeed.
Thank you.
Sir, you have been committee of INSA for the past few years. What are the plans to the development of this arm of INSA, and how will it benefit the ship owners and maritime education industry in the long term?
Yeah. Actually, this committee of INSA is obviously, because it is part of INSA, so it is for the Indian ship owners. But because from the country's perspective, the maritime education, as I said earlier, is extremely important. So the role of this academy, this committee, is not really concentrated only to the INSA's work as such. Anything which is related to maritime education is of interest. Okay. So whether it is looking after the any changes with respect to syllabus, or any inputs which can be given to the administration with respect to whatever we are doing, and that's one thing. I've been happy to be part of INSA in some of the HTW meetings in IMO. I came across, I think about a year and a half back, a study which was done in Europe about the views of the seafarers. And I found that study to be extremely good. Only thing, it was too European centric, and it was not relevant to our Indian industry. And that's why I proposed to INSA that why not we do something like this, which would benefit the country as a whole, and find out the views of the various stakeholders who are connected to the maritime education sector. Okay. And I'm thankful that the INSA board agreed, and then finally had discussions with the DG, and the administration agreed. And we have recently launched that. It's called Navik Jeevan, and that link has already been circulated around. Through this medium, through IMEI, I would like to appeal to each and everyone who's listening that if you've got the link, please go for that survey. If you have not got, try to please find it, and we'll be happy to supply that. So that's another thing. One more thing which we could do is to provide some kind of a support to the administration regarding various rules and regulations which, or the conventions which IMO is coming by. Okay, so because that eventually leads to implication not only for the Indian ship owners, but to everybody. And whether it is ship owners or whether it is seafarers or whether it is equipment manufacturers. So that is another angle which we are trying to work on. And I'm happy that I have support of all the members who are there in the committee and the INSA board itself. And hopefully we'll do something still better, which we could do. Only thing is, we need to do something more on the research aspect, you see. Because that is one area where we have not done much. We have tried to start a competition. I had been instrumental in moving that forward, and now because of the COVID, things have slowed down, but I hope that will pick up. So I think there's a lot which can be done there, and I'm sure with the support of you all, we'll be able to move further. Yes.
So good to hear this, sir. Absolutely. And self being a part of the same committee, I'm always there to support you in fulfilling your dreams for the future of the maritime education industry and the benefits that ship owners would get as a byproduct of such deliverables. So one more question. You as ex-president of IMEI, what is the message for the IMEI and where would you like to see the institute heading now and how can this be made possible?
Yeah, again, I'm definitely privileged to have been the president a couple of years back, and I enjoyed that stint actually, 2 years. And again, there's a lot which can be done there, and each team which comes in there tries and adds up values to whatever IMEI has been doing there. What I would probably can suggest is to involve more the younger members, because, I mean, the elderly people are always there to provide advice and support and things like that. But slowly, the baton should pass on to the younger generation, and the youngsters should get more and more involved. And I see that happening already to some extent. But I mean, because you are there, you are much younger than me, so it's nice to see you here.
Relatively.
But, and another thing is the involvement of the student members. Because student members, again, somehow this kind of a sense of belonging is needed. One thing which is possible probably to have some kind of a newsletter, maybe a monthly newsletter, online newsletter, just so that the members...
Sir, I will interrupt you here. We have already started a quarterly. The first edition came out in June. The second one is coming out in September. If you have not got that copy, I will send you one.
Yes.
But we have already started that, sir, as the initiative of the Mumbai branch. But it's already there. So I will send it to you. Maybe you have some inputs to improve that or whatever we can add. Please have a look, sir, and let us know your feedback and suggestions.
Great. Sorry, I didn't know about it, and please do send me. And I would suggest make every month. And again, nothing very great, just collection of what has happened in the last 1 month. I mean, there's so many things are happening, and just little bit information here, there, and give a link so that it is it's sort of an avenue of traveling of information. And IMEI works as a catalyst in this,
Coincidentally, I'm the editor, so I can bring
Wonderful.
more changes. And also the fact that we gather more centered on IMEI Mumbai branch and what activities we have done, plus the subcommittees, because we have formed several subcommittees, so what they do. And plus we're giving a chance and encouraging our fraternity to send, including the children, wives, some articles, jokes, drawing. So, we're trying to incorporate, making it more flowery, making it more varied. And of course, apart from that, what is happening in the industry becomes the prime focus. Of course, we have our own IMEI quarterly, which comes to MER. So that has a lot about the maritime and the marine engineering especially. So we're trying to look at it more as a sort of bringing the fraternity together kind of quarterly. And if it's more successful, we will bring it out monthly also. We thought let us have a look how it works. If it works well, then of course monthly can also be an option.
Good, 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 very good. Then just let me know. I mean, send me the one of them, and then probably I could contribute once in a while. You know, I can.
Indeed, sir,
Not
that
that
will be,
I
that will,
write
that
or
will be
something,
most
but
welcome.
any important news which I could get, I could pass on, and that could be beneficial. Very good idea. So there's a lot which can be done by IMEI, and needs to be a little more visible. And I mean, initiatives like this is again going to help. So anything new coming out of box of whatever we have been doing, just anything new would be good for the institute and for the fraternity as a whole. Yes.
Very well, sir. Point well taken. As I said, we will try to improve on these and see where we can do extra and get that to take a new turn. And with newer, younger blood instilled, we will probably get it
Needed.
from different perspectives. So thank you for your suggestions. We will definitely discuss this and see how we can take it forward. So one last question, post-retirement, what are your activities apart from being advisor to TMI and chairman of INSA Training Research Committee? I know you stay at Pune and travel to Mumbai specifically for the INSA meetings and other activities where you are involved. But apart from that, anything else you do in particular or anything you wish to do, desire to do, or any other plans?
Yeah, I do quite a bit actually. I mean, I still work good about 5 or 6 hours a day actually. Although I'm retired, but then suddenly, I have a knack of getting caught into things, so, anything anybody says, ki bhai ye kar do, I say, chalo, yeah, why not, let's try it out, So, INSA, yes, of course, Tolani is yes. But, Narottam Moraji, I'm involved substantially. I'm on the board also. I'm the chairman of its academic council. And I also teach. In fact, we're trying to come out with some kind of a association with IMEI. Let's hope it works, so that we can provide some kind of, some capsules on commercial topics for the engineers and even nautical officers actually. So we are working on that. So hopefully that should be available in near future actually. So I'm involved in that. I have been right from the beginning when I joined CRE or when I was chief probably. I became a member of each and every association, society I could lay hand on. And I am substantially involved in the Institution of Engineers in Calcutta. For many years, I was heading its Marine Engineering Division. And now I am an associate editor of its journal, which is of a very high caliber journal. So I am involved in that. IMU, I am involved. I'm a guide to some of the students for postgraduate as well as PhD. So then some other academic institutions I am involved with. And more importantly, I'm still studying. Sounds little funny, but I've been always very interested in law. Many years back I did insurance law, and has been a subject in WMU also. So now I have joined a 1.5-year course of WMU once again, postgraduate diploma in international maritime law. And I'm studying and I'm working on it. I'm more than halfway through that. So that is, another thing which takes a lot of my time, but it brings in a lot of interest. And I would take this opportunity to sort of tell the youngsters and seafarers and marine engineers in a more specific way that they should not think that the class 1 or masters is the ultimate. Okay. I mean, there's a lot which can be done actually. Only thing you need to find out which is your interested field and get into that and try and pursue whatever you can. I mean, I'm not saying only studies, anything. Okay. I have somehow found academics to be of interest, and that is why I'm involved in this, so. And I teach, as I said, I mean, anybody who's interested in any subject, if they give me a call, I say, chalo, let's have a class together. So that's how I'm doing it. And I think there's nothing much more than that, probably. But it keeps me very, very, very busy, actually.
Indeed, sir.
Yeah.
So what a fantastic career, what a fantastic life, and still going strong. I guess the best is yet to come. You are truly an inspiration for all of us in the maritime fraternity.
Yeah.
And keep up the good work, sir. We all look up to you for whatever you do. And we look to hear from you more. Thank you so much, sir. It is always a pleasure talking to you. But on this iTalk platform of IMEI, it was truly an unforgettable experience. Reluctantly would need to close this session. Thanks everyone for taking the time to watch this episode of iTalk. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye till the next session of iTalk. Over to you, Sanjeev.
I want to take this opportunity to once again thank you, David, for making it easy, not making it rough on me. And thanks to IMEI for this opportunity. And all the very best to each one of you and whosoever is listening. Thank you.
Indeed a privilege, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjeev.